Hey everybody, we are going to talk about building your nonprofit board. So I'll talk a little bit about specifics with the military spouses clubs, but the information I'm going to share with you today can be used for any type of nonprofit board, volunteer organizations, anything like that. So my first tip is when you're building, especially the spouses club type of board, the way you advertise and the way you go about putting the information out there of what positions are open, who are you looking for, that is extremely important. And far too many times you'll just see a Facebook post come across and it will say, it'll be a post and it will list, hey, these positions are open. That's great. Okay, step one. But for the most part, not everybody knows what those positions mean, especially newer spouses who are maybe newer to being a military spouse, new to this area, to this post. We here at Fort Leavenworth, we get a ton of spouses who are Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, whatever. They come here for CGSC. And the way that we run our spouses club can be completely different than the way the Air Force or the Navy runs their club. They have different positions, and maybe what membership is doing in the Air Force spouses club can be completely different than what membership is expected to do with within the Army spouses club. So I think that it is extremely important to not just list the positions that are open, but to take the time to make a video like this. And that worked really well. We did that here. And I would hop on and I would say, hey, everybody, we're looking for a membership chair. If you love to plan big events and you loved it, you're a people person and that's your thing, then membership might be something that's perfect for you, because our membership here plans a large scale super sign up event. So right there, I've got, like, if you're into party planning, there you go. If you just love interacting with people, highlight that. Membership is the face of the club. They sit at the front and usually greet everybody when they come in. They're handing out the name tags, and a good membership chair is going to know the names of these people. By the end of the year, they're going to be handing out the name tags, and the people won't just be looking for them. So I think it's cool to really hone in on who you're looking for in that person. If you're looking for a fundraising chair, that's what you're going to say. You're going to say, do you love planning big events? Do you have a background in fundraising? All of that, like, highlight that. A lot of times too, for a big position like fundraising chair, I'll say, do you have a friend and you guys just think that you could plan an awesome fundraiser together? Fundraising chair is a perfect job for a co-chair, or perfect position for a co-chair. And I'll sell it like that, because sometimes it will be easier to get a person who maybe her and her neighbor are like, ooh, like, we could do that, and they do it together, and that just takes a little bit of, like, the large amount of planning and stress for one person to deal with on their own, and they have a partner to work with. So that's another way to sell larger positions within a club that are a little bit harder to fill at times. So that's the way I go about that. The other thing is, if you have a exec team who is going to be hanging around, it's really fun to do some videos with the team. And I've done ones where we did compilations of, like, photos and all the fun we had. And it would be like, hey, do you want to work with us? Like, we're looking for XYZ, sign up today, like, turn in your application and come hang out with us. And that's just another way to sell it, because now somebody is seeing, like, ooh, they look fun. That looks like a group that I would want to hang out with. So those are just a few ways that I have found that, like, selling your organization to people to want to come and be around you, those have worked for us in the past. So the other thing I wanted to mention is, let me see, once you start interviewing, and not everybody does interviews, but once you start getting some applications coming in, right? I do not recommend that you just immediately, they turned it in, they were first, like, hey, you're on the board. I highly recommend that you give them a call. That's usually the best way to go about it. Or I'll shoot them an email and say, hey, I just got your application. It looks like you're interested in membership chair. That's awesome. First, I ask them when they're coming here, because that's a big problem that we've ran into, is, like, people will apply and then they'll say, we're not going to get there though till late September. Well, if you're applying for membership chair and your big event for membership is to do the super sign up event, which is in August, usually, like, I'm going to say like, hey, maybe we can like look at putting you into this position, give them some suggestions for other positions. Don't completely just say like, no, you're not going to be here in time. But you can say like, hey, you're really going to miss like one of the big duties of the membership chair because it's in August. But I think that you would also be like a great fit for, and then recommend something else that is open. So I don't just usually tell people, sorry, that's filled, and move on. I always recommend another position that they could possibly be interested in. So definitely ask when they're coming. And then the next question is like, when they get there, I always say like, hey, could we grab a coffee? Could we grab lunch or whatever? And so this does not mean, because if you're doing this with 25 women, 25 spouses, whatever, this does not mean that you're paying out of pocket and taking every single person to lunch or whatever. It just means that you are putting out the invitation like, hey, do you want to grab a coffee? We can kind of go over what's expected with this position. And doing that, you are setting the tone for your entire relationship with this person who's going to be working with you. First of all, you took the time that you not only just want to welcome them, they just got here, they probably don't know anybody, so that's great. Now you're taking the time to get to know them on a personal basis before you guys just jump into a working relationship. And so now you know, like, do they also have a side job, or they work, or do they have a job and they also want to volunteer? You kind of get to know like what their family dynamic is. Are they available to work? And that's another thing. If like they're homeschooling, you need to be upfront about that, whether you allow children at your socials, because some do, some don't. Some let them come to a certain age. But again, you're not completely saying like, no, this isn't going to be a good fit. But you are letting them know that, hey, we have these luncheons. Our board meetings are on Wednesday mornings. Are you going to be able to have childcare available, like to be able to come to those meetings? Just, it all depends. But those are questions you ask up front. You don't just assume that they're going to want to go pay for childcare. You don't assume that their kids are going to school. You need to ask those questions. That's important because you're setting yourself up for success in doing that. So although I would love to just be like, everybody who applies, you're on the board, like having some of these conversations has kind of steered people away. And maybe they were like, you know what, I don't know that I'm going to be able to give you and your board what you need in this position. But they want to go lead a sub club. They want to go do the restaurant explorers or in the evening and run that. I always give them a secondary option. Okay. I never, ever just say like, it's not a good fit and turn them away. So I've made that clear. So the other part about that is that now not only are you a new friend to them, right? Someone they know, you've built this relationship with them. And now when they do show up and they join the board, they're already comfortable with at least you as the leader. So now you're able, when you're doing introductions, you're able to say, hey, meet Sarah. Sarah just moved here from Ohio. They've been at this random duty station away from the military life for a while. And you're giving them like more of a welcome than just like, hey, meet new membership chair. So those are just a few things that have worked really well, in my opinion, with filling a spouses club board. But I always think communication, we talked about that. Be clear with what the position is. Honesty will take you far. Let them know when the board meetings are. Right at the beginning. That actually should be on your application, okay? They should know before they apply that you meet every Wednesday morning at 9 o'clock, because if every Wednesday morning at 9 o'clock they have something else they're doing, you'll have people who will say, I still want to do it though, it just doesn't end well. Having someone who can never make your board meetings or never come to a social, it just doesn't help your organization. Your board should be invested in the club. And that looks like your board members coming to your meetings. That looks like your board members going to the events that you're planning. And that looks like your board members coming to your luncheons. Is everybody going to make every single event you do? No. And that is okay. But to have somebody who is filling a board spot who just does not have anything to do with the rest of the club, then that's not a good fit. And, and just be honest, and they'll realize that too. But anyway, so my advice for you, especially those spouses clubs that are seeking new members for next year or seeking new people for their board for next year, make a video today, okay? Let them see your face. Smile, be welcoming. They're going to want to come join your board when they see the type of people that they're going to be working with. So good luck.